What's up, KxP Nation? It's your host, Hamza Ramzanali, live with another episode of Turf Talk. Very impromptu. We got a lot of things to announce. I'm going to give you guys a quick introduction of my co-host, Haitham. How you doing today? You doing all right, buddy?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Thanks.
We got Coach of the Ball Hawks, Haider. Haider, how you feeling? First episode that you're on.
Um, Thank you for having me.
Yep, bro. Got you. And, of course, lawyer, Abdullah Al-Zamli. How you feeling, brother?
Feeling good, man. Good to be here.
Yep. All right, I'm going to start y'all off with something super exciting. Haitham is going to give you guys a big announcement, and then we're going to go from there. Haitham, take it away, bro.
So we wanted to announce to the league that we're officially expanding from 8 teams making the playoffs to a 9 and 10 seed as well. So the people that are still, looking to make that push for the 8th seed, it's going to be a little bit easier. I don't think anyone's officially out of contention except for one team. I believe that's all Madden. They're 1 and 7. I think they're the only ones officially eliminated from playoffs, but everyone else, it's do or die this upcoming week.
Yeah, super exciting news out of the KxP board. We were hoping to do this because we had that little tie fiasco with a couple teams. I know Haider is super excited, gave his team a new lifeline. How are you feeling about this new format, Haider?
I'm loving it. Gives our boys one more chance to play out. Let's get out there, show them what we can do, and hit that playoff opportunity here with the 10 teams.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were hoping for. We're hoping the teams that were out of the contention are now excited to get back in here. So the way the format will work is we're going to start with the wild card round. The 7 seed will play the 10 seed for the 7th seed. So that'll be the first game of the playoffs, technically, and that's going to be a wild card round, like I said. And then the second game will be 8 seed versus 9 seed for the 8 seed. After that, it'll follow the regular format of 1v8. 4v5, 2v7, 3v6. And so that's how it's going to go. We're super excited, like we said. Abdullah, you came up with this idea. How you feeling too, bro?
I'm excited. I think at the beginning of the year, we talked about how the league was top heavy. And I think over the course of the season, we've seen some upsets. We've seen some teams at the bottom improve. And I think that this playoff will help. It was just after the wild card round, there is a reseeding. So if the 10 will advance, and they would play the 1, but just the wild card round. That's the only time there's a reseeding, and I think it'll be a lot of fun for everybody involved.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great for the league. I hope a team can make a push from the bottom. We usually only see the top teams make it far, so I'm hoping to see some upsets. I hope it'll expand the upset, we'll get some more. And then now, moving on, we got some more exciting news. We're going to drop the schedule for this week and some big games. We're going to have some rematches you guys are going to see. Most of them are from week 1. There was one recent rematch. We couldn't help it, but we had to do it. But I'm very excited for you all to see this. Haitham, if you can show us schedule real quick. Let's start with game 1.
We got the first rematch. We got 3-peat versus Primetime. A little drama. The first game for 3-peat. They started 14-0 down because they showed up late. That's, I think, been the story all season for them, is trying to show up on time, getting enough guys. The game ended basically 14-0. No one scored, and it was a shortened game. So I think we're all, I could say for everyone, very excited to see how this game plays out. Not just with Primetime and 3-peat, but also the addition of Air Egypt to their team, after the fact. So we'll see if it's as lopsided as everyone made it out to be,
100%. I'm excited to see a full 3-peat. I think Oates and Shafiq are going to play too. So prime time, obviously, Mo Ahmed and his brother. Anas, I think his name is. That addition was big. They're making a playoff push too. So hope to see a good game. You want to move to game 2? Game 2, we got Warriors LOB. This is going to be a good one. Warriors are 6-2, but man, they got blown out by G-Mob and Desert Lions. So Warriors, man, if you want to prove that you're contenders, this is a big game for you. LOB obviously coming off a huge loss to G-Mob. 20-0 they lost. That was a big one too. So it's going to be a good game. I know both teams are going to be looking to prove a point. What else do you guys think? Heather, you got any input for this one?
Yeah, I was not expecting LOB to take a loss like that, especially at that level, at that capacity. I don't know if it means that Gmob is really that as good as they are, or if they just had a crazy weekend after Dean's announcement. So we'll see if it needs to be a bounce back game for them this time around. So Warriors, you got to do something with that offense. You got to do something to keep yourselves in the contention here.
Yeah, how do you want to move it to the next game?
Game 3, we got All Madden versus the Ball Hawks. Caps on the Ball Hawks. Ball Hawks, Ball Hogs, whatever we're calling them nowadays. We're excited to see them, whatever squad they're going to be able to muster with their new quarterback at the helm. So we saw a little bit of plays like with him, Marcus Brown Jr. We saw a couple plays with him. I think they were trying to do a couple things. Hey, you can elaborate more for us. We saw I think a trick play in the first play of the game with Hakeem and Marcus. Can you kind of elaborate what you guys were planning for that?
Yeah, we wanted to run a little bit of that razzle dazzle where we have Hakeem as a quarterback, try to keep everyone off toes, off the eyes of Marcus, try to get something going a little bit on the sugar on that trick play. But ultimately, we gave it to Marcus the full helm on that, and he gave us a little bit of that spark that we're looking for. Obviously, he was kind of thrown into the fire a little bit, and never a backup quarterback or a secondary quarterback coming in. It's hard to do, especially late in the season. So I think he gave us a little bit of a taste of what he can do with our squad. And I'm hoping that we can come out against his old team to show all Madden what they're losing and show what Ballhawks can do moving forward. So excited to see this game matchup for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this game, man. Marcus, I think he has a point to prove. So, Haitham, if you want to move it to the next game, and I'm gonna let Abdullah hype this up because this is his favorite matchup. He vied for this one. So, Abdullah, go ahead, bro.
Man, I am so hyped for this game. Gmob, my favorites. I think we sent a message last week. Their first game of the season, we were really excited about them. They got spanked by Desert Lions, and it was a lot of talk. Oh, they're just a new team. The top two teams are LOB, Desert Lions. But over the course of the season, they picked up their chemistry. They figured out what works for them. I think they got some MVP candidates on that team that are really showing that they can play with the best in the league, and now they get to go right before the playoffs, play the second best team, and see what it's like. So I am absolutely hyped for this game, and I know Desert's going to come full stacked with everybody, hopefully with Harper, with everybody ready. Let's see what it is. Let's get a taste of a potential championship or semifinals game.
Yeah, I think that's a silver lining with this game is this is not just a 1 week thing. We might see this again in the playoffs, probably in the semis or the championship, like you said. I'm hoping both teams bring their full squad, and I'm hoping we see some action, man. We need a shootout, good old fashioned. This might be like Tom Brady and what's his name, Tom Brady and whoever his host is calling the game. This is the matchup of the week, game of the week. America's tuning in. They want to see fireworks.
Yeah, I just want to quickly say the Gmob, I think a big hit they took was Ahmed Hamed. He showed up this week wearing a full cast or whatever arm sleeve. I think he might be done for the season. So that takes a lot of their trick plays out. He said something about maybe a torn ligament, something like that along the lines. He may be out for the entire playoffs, so that's definitely a big hit for them in terms of their QB handing it off to him, doing a little trickery. But that line, man. But I was there, recording the game against LOB. Their line is insane. They didn't have these guys for week 1 against Desert Lions, but Abaddon, he's about to feel like a gazelle, against Lions, the way that they're going to be chasing around on Sunday.
Definitely going to be a tough game for sure for both sides. I cannot wait.
Wow. I'm saying it now. Game of the week. I've been probably the biggest hater for the Hamadizers, but the way that, Bassett kind of relinquished control to Matt Gills at the quarterback position, and that's what a captain does, you know what I mean? He may not have been the perfect fit for them this season with their weaponry, and there was another guy who could do it better for them, but Bassett impressed me with the way that he's kind of led this team, and he's allowed them to flourish. Matt Gills, he's been spectacular at the quarterback position. and they made a couple good pickups after we won't really talk about it too much, the drama from the week before, but definitely these two teams, there's potential for some more drama this week, let's say.
Yeah, it's the battle of the keyboard warriors, group chat warriors, man. They just keep fighting each other in the group chat. I know Ilaga was saying some stuff. Ali Ilaga, the wide receiver, was saying some stuff to Basil. So I hope to see them line up against each other. AZ-Tron, 4 catches, career high. Hoping to see another impact game from him. Mo Ilaga might be my favorite quarterback right now. So this game's gonna be fireworks. Hopefully. And hopefully not like a 0-0 into overtime and then 6-0 like last week for Bomb Squad. So
Yeah, guys, please, just real quick, enough with the overtimes, guys. Like we only have the field for an hour for you guys. Every game goes to OT. Like it's really hard to keep up with the schedule. So please score more. That's all.
Yeah, I will say playoff wise, Commandizers really just needs a win. They have the best point differential of these bottom teams, and if they get a win, they are pretty much guaranteed to be in the play-in or the wild card round, which would be a big deal for them. Who struggled at the beginning of the season, but have played close in a lot of games. Have had some heartbreaking losses. This would be a nice way for them to cap their season off, and who knows, come into the playoffs with some momentum. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they play, and I'm looking forward to this game. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was blown away by the Commandizers. We game planned well for them, and they still did absolutely like fantastic against us. They found every single weakness that we had. They made us look like what we were, not really a good team. So they are my sleeper team for this playoffs. I really do think that they have all the pieces for it, and they just need this win. If they can do this, Squad, I don't have any faith in y'all. Commandizers all the way. Commandizers up.
all right, let's see the next.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy AZ-Tron coming from you live. Just want to give you guys a pregame presser of what's going to come on Sunday. I want to talk about the opponents we have. Now, it's probably going to be Bum Squad. I just looking at the standings, this is the most probable opponent. And I want to talk about the opponents in specific, one by one. I want to start off with the TC Tamir Garabi. Don't know how you say his name. Number one, I'll let you know, bro, it's time to hang up that XXL jersey. I've been too nice to these bums. It's time to hang up that, my bad, quadruple XL jersey, bro. Number two, we got to go on to the Twins. These guys have talked the most to everybody but one person. Shahriar Khan, your owner. Now, when Papa's around, I get it, you got to be quiet, but have some dignity. There is no shame with them. Number three, I want to talk about the UFC match they had on Sunday. That was the lamest thing ever. And number two, I want to let you guys know that if it comes to that Sunday, yeah, I don't know if I could say that on this because I might get banned. Comments don't ban me, but they know what's going to happen this Sunday if they try anything UFC like. They call me Khabib 2.0. And I want to leave with one final statement. They call me to kill the boogeyman!
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
I'll let you go.
Yeah, we got we got the snooze fest of the week. Team Palestine versus OTF. Fortunately, this was the one rematch that was pretty recent, and OTF destroyed Team Palestine. But I think Team Palestine has some potential if the captain Khalid Salah shows up and a couple of their other guys. They're always missing people every week. So hopefully, Team Palestine, you're still in it. I know you're the 13th seed. If you win this game, you might make the 10th seed. So this is a big game considering their playoff implications. And I think OTF is also the 10th seed, so they're in a win and in scenario. So it's good to see, like I said, with the 10-team expansion, a lot of these teams are in win and in scenarios. So it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I like OTF, their chances for this week. If Isam is back, if he's not back, and they've kind of had the same guys they've had out there for the past week or two, it's more even. I think last time they played, Taha might have had like 2 or 3 touchdowns though, so he definitely saved the game for them. But Team Palestine, man, I think they're right there. They just need a couple more, maybe playmakers or people to kind of step up in their roles a bit. I feel like this team doesn't really have an identity. It's just same. I kind of like the same plays week in, week out, where other teams might try something new here and there. But definitely looking forward to either seeing them if they win this game in the playoffs, or next season if they decide to come back and bring some new guys.
And I just wanted to say OTF has the ability to put some points on the board. Palestine went into a double OT yesterday, and it was phenomenal to watch them do that. They had the game in hand, but they kind of let it slip away. So like they're literally 2, 3 smart plays away from being a 4-win, 5-win team type of team. So they just need to step themselves up and
Yeah.
find that reason to win.
Just want to say real quick, double T is not phenomenal. Don't do that again, because again, we don't
At
have
5 o'clock,
time. So score, please, again. I'm glad that we have this game at the end of the schedule for this week, because recently it's been an absolute snooze fest. I've been dying to go home by the time it hits 4 or 5 o'clock because the heat. But this week we got TSA Most Wanted and DBU, two teams that I feel like are right in the middle of the pack. They're not the best team, and they're absolutely not one of the worst teams. They both have some very solid playmakers. In my eyes, I think Rafi touched on this the last episode. AQ Abdullah, man, he was his pick for MVP. Rafi, I think he's grown on almost everybody. I'd say he's my pick so far for MVP. There's nobody else in the league that does as much on both sides of the ball as Abdullah. By far, this kid is either mossing somebody for a touchdown or getting a pick and taking it all the way back 100 yards. And basically, the entire game is in his hands, it feels like, when he's on that field. I can't say any more about him. He's definitely my pick so far for MVP.
No, I definitely agree. AQ is, he's like the main event every time he plays because every time both sides of the ball, it seems like he just goes right to the ball. He's a ball hawk technically, and he's a beast. And I hope to see him win MVP. I don't know if he has my vote yet because some of the QBs are doing some dominant stuff, and their record is 4-4 compared to the other teams, but he's definitely up there. And this game is also a rematch from Week 1. TSA lost 20-0 against DBU, but they were saying that they were missing a lot of guys. So TSA has something to prove, hopefully, and they can finish second in their conference with the winner of this game and probably a top 4 seed, or sorry, not a top 4 seed, but a 5th seed. So let's see who wins this. It'll be interesting. It should be a good matchup.
I think they'll be
Yeah.
going into this without their quarterback, though, after the incident last week, DBU. So I think it adds a little bit more. I don't think there's any playoff implication for these teams, but it's definitely going to be better.
I think
for
it does
TSA.
in a sense.
They're basically playing for the 5th seed. They're going to get the 6th seed or the 5th seed. So technically, it'll be an easier matchup for both teams seeding wise. You'll play the 4th seed instead of playing the 3rd seed in the first round.
Okay.
So it does make a little bit, I mean, it's pick and choose kind of because all the top 4 teams are pretty good. So, but technically, the way the numbers work, they would be playing an easier team if they win. I have TSA taking this, though. I think without Alex, DBU is going to struggle a little bit, and TSA will win this.
I think both games have one key player, and if both those key players are locked up, it becomes a barn burner. So it's Hamid on one side, and it's AQ on the other side. Name of the game is stop one of those two from getting to the end zone, and then the game has to rely on everybody else to try to make a play. So that makes it a powerful game for either one to figure out who's going to score.
Yeah, for sure. I think the matchups that we picked, I'm super excited for them. Sad I can't be there this week, but I'm definitely going to go back and watch all the film because these games are fireworks. And, with the playoff seedings on the line, I think everybody's going to be locked in, hopefully show up with their full squad. I know there's some players that haven't played all 3 eligible games to be eligible for playoffs, so here you go. This is your last chance if you got 2 games under the boat and you need one more. So otherwise, you're not playing in the playoffs. We're going to roster check, and you're not going to be able to play. So this is your last chance if you want to make it to the playoffs.
Hayder brought up a good point with Hamid. That guy took a 109-yard pick six, like to the house, man. Like he posted on his story. That was his highlight of the day. But man, yeah, when he's there, there's a difference with this team. I don't think he was there last week on Sunday. They won Saturday. He didn't show up Sunday. They lost, and now he was back this week, and they did what they did. I don't even know if they won, to be honest, but yeah.
All right, KxP, that was the games that we have planned for this week. We're super excited. A lot of implications on the line. And another thing that's going to be interesting is the MVP race. Like we touched on a little bit with AQ. I have a new number one candidate, and I'm excited to share that. Dylan Warden has officially taken over as the MVP for me. I know he's on a stacked team, kind of like Jalen Hurts on the Eagles a little bit, but I still got to give him his credit, man. He's a leader. He's throwing all the right passes. He doesn't make mistakes, it seems like. Warden has taken over as number one for me. I know he doesn't play defense, and Hussam and Imran do, and AQ does play both ways, but what he's doing for that team on offense, I mean, the throws are incredible. I know his guys are open a lot, but you still got to get the ball there, and he's just, in my opinion, right now, the most accurate QB in the league. I didn't think that we would have someone take over Imran and Hussam, but I'm very impressed by his rise. What do you guys think? Who wants to take it over next?
I like Dylan a lot. I think he's been on a tear, and he's been obviously an important part of GMOB. And we saw like GMOB when Ahmed played quarterback, and then unfortunately he got hurt, and they went to the third string. They looked like a little bit of a different team, and so putting him in there helped. And it shows just how powerful that offense is. Like when you can hit Issa so consistently on the deep ball, and you're that accurate, it stretches the whole team out. For me, I think you still gotta play both sides. Like it's a league that it's flagged. It's not like the NFL or anything like that. And so I have Hussam remains kind of in that top spot for me. I think he leads the league both in passing yards, passing touchdowns, rushing yards, I think, or second in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. He's had a couple really long rushing touchdowns this year, and LOB has been very consistent the whole season. Obviously, the last loss was kind of tough, but I think he's been very good and really done a lot. It's the one person who's really jumped up for me is AQ. Just like Hytham said, it is unbelievable how he impacts the game. Just on every side, you got to know where he is. He just does so much, and I'm trying to find a way to justify giving MVP to a 4-4 team, and I don't know if I'm gonna get there. But that's for me where I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I gotta stick with some of that. AQ has been a nightmare for everyone to figure out how to defend against or play against. You see him on offense drop like a 60-yard touchdown all the way through, just super elusive, does whatever he can to keep the flags out of people's hands. And game planning for him is a nightmare too. I think we went, for the most part of our Ball Hawks game, was 6-0. All he did was make one or two jukes, and that was the end of that matter of that game. It was 6-0 pretty much at that point, outside of the end of the game. So AQ just does everything for that team. I think that's an MVP value right there.
Yeah, again, he, like everybody said, he does it all. I do like your point with Dylan Hamza. I could see him jumping up, man, like completely out of the conversation of being number one. I mean, I don't think I'm ready to give it to him just yet, like with the MVP consideration, maybe like offensive player. But again, I like AQ, Hussam, Imran, those are all definitely, offense, defensive, MVP. Abdullah, you brought up the point of him being like 4-4. I just wanted to say most valuable player, not team. I know they're 4-4, but if he wasn't on the team, I don't think they'd be 4-4. If LOB had a different QB, I don't think they'd be 7-1, but they definitely wouldn't be, like they wouldn't be slouches. Same thing as Desert Lions. Like they would be able to find someone to at least propel them to 4 or 5 wins, something like that. But TSA, they might as well not even pack up all their stuff in their shared vehicle and make the trip from Milwaukee, because that guy, he is a game changer, absolutely.
No, I think that's what I'm saying. If AQ does something this week, he's most likely going to get my vote. If he gets a touchdown on both sides of the ball again, honestly, he'll get my vote. I also do want to say to the fans out there that we are going to do hopefully like a Google form where you can cast your ballot. Not sure if it'll count for anything, but just something fun. We can maybe have like a player's MVP, hopefully. But we're going to do our official ballots after this week, and then we're going to pick our MVPs, our All Pros. And we also have Offensive Player of the Year and Depoy. And so I think the Offensive Player of the Year, in my opinion, this year has been Issa. We gave it to Kiwi last year. He was the number one wide receiver. Issa's been very clear and above the number one wide receiver this year. Heather, what do you think? Is that your pick for Opoy this year?
Yeah, I keep spelling his name wrong in the chat, but yeah, Issa, dude, is insane. Especially with as you're talking about Dylan, just finding him open, finding these, just no one. People are playing safeties are playing like 30 yards deep just to keep up with him, and he's still dusting them. He's a cheat code, man. So got to give him the Oppo.
Yeah, he's got that speed you can't game plan against. Hytham, is he your pick? And same with you, Abdullah. What do you guys think? Is it Issa for you guys so far?
I mean, for me, I haven't given too much consideration to the offensive player, but I think Issa is definitely up there. We're gonna put him up there. Dude, he's sitting there warming up for 30 minutes before the game, doing his like track sprints, this and that. He's got my vote just based off that, because I know I'd be tired as hell from one of those routes.
I mean, I think he's been fantastic. He's probably been just more consistent than everybody else. I think there's a lot of other receivers that are pretty solid, but just either have not come enough or have not had the same impact over the course of the year, and so that might be it. It'll depend. There are some quarterbacks who, if they don't win MVP, I think I'd give some consideration to the Offensive Player of the Year award. But it looks like we're all on the same page.
Yeah, and I think the tough one for me more than Offensive Player of the Year, because I think that one Issa's kind of running away with, as we're all in agreement. Depoy is a little bit tough for me right now. I'm deciding between what I value more, sacks or interceptions, and then even in interceptions, I'm valuing how much more is a pick six worth than a regular interception, right? Obviously, it's 6 points versus just setting your team up with a good field position, probably. I have my vote as right now AQ, but Shahada from Primetime has been a defensive monster. I mean, the amount of pressure he's putting on other QBs is insane. I know AQ leads the league in pick sixes and is close to leading the league in INTs, I think. So I probably would give it to AQ right now just because points on the board is points on the board and it matters more. But Shahada's impact has not gone unnoticed, and he's probably been the best D lineman this year. What do you think, Hytham?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the AQ is definitely up there. Mahmoud, I would maybe flip them because 12 sacks is crazy in a league like this, where any given week you can get shut down or something. If the lineman is good enough, you can have no sacks or anything like that. So Mahmoud, he's definitely, I think, my pick for Defensive Player of the Year so far. We'll see how he does in the last game against 3P. Yeah, if he can get to, I think, Shafiq, because Saeed isn't going to be there this week, so it's definitely going to test, his mettle a little bit against a running quarterback rather than someone sitting in the pocket the whole time. But definitely Mahmoud. Real quick, speaking of Mahmoud, if he doesn't get the Defensive Player of the Year, I think he's my vote for Comeback Player of the Year. Because last season, we saw him get suspended. He was actually, done for the entire year based off, the repercussions from his incident. Hyder, if you want to give us your defensive pick.
You took away a little of what I was going to say. I was on primetime last year, and I would have really loved the 12 sacks that he could have brought us last year, too. But he got suspended and played a little selfish there. But he's been phenomenal, man. Like, seeing him go after the quarterback relentlessly has been really good. If I had to make a final vote, though, like we talked about, I know it's going to be a little bit of redundancy, but you can't throw to AQ's side. Wherever he's at, it's coming back, and it's not coming back for 10 yards, 20 yards. It's going to the house. So it changes the way you want to game plan against that. though. My picks for Depoy is AQ, man.
Abdullah Ajmeri on the Warriors. He's also been kind of a hound. He's got a decent amount of pick sixes. Has blown the top off the defense on offense. Obviously, it's not consideration for defensive player of the year, but he's been very good on that end and helping the Warriors win. And another guy on the lineman side, he probably has not played enough games to win the All Year award, but Aaron from GMOB, I mean, that guy has been a dog, and he's been a lot of fun to watch. His celebrations are my favorite in the league, and so those two guys, depending, especially this week, you got, if the Warriors can upset LOB and Abdullah plays a big part of that, I mean, there are some jumps to be made here.
And speaking of GMOB, Rory is actually the one that leads league in the picks. I was checking the stat for it today, and he had 2 versus LOB too. So big game player right there on the defensive side. All these guys are just so good. I think Depoy is the hardest race for me to decide. Like I said, you got to value sacks, you got to value interceptions, pick sixes, all these things come into play. I think that'll be the hardest one to pick because there's just so many good players on that side of the ball. And so we'll see how it goes.
GMOB defensive line, man. You guys got to chill out a little bit. You almost broke my camera like 3 times this week against LOB, pushing a guy into me. I'm trying to get your film. Just relax a bit. You don't got to pull a Michael Orr and try to put him in the, on the track. Let's just relax a bit.
Those guys are big. Those guys are fast. And they're playing like the Eagles. I was telling Rory this today. That D-line and secondary combination reminds me of what the Eagles did, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just blew through every team in the playoffs.
The comeback player of the year, I brought it up a couple minutes ago. I have it between Mahmoud and, to be honest, Ammar Zora on LOB, coming back from being injured week 1 of our inaugural season to absolutely dominating this year. He hurt his knee. He was out the entire year, showing up to the games week in, week out on crutches. The level of dedication for his squad, man. And then this year, he was still pulling some big catches against GMOB, even though the score didn't, reflect that. He was still their MVP in this game.
He is an awesome player, and it's different comeback stories there. You got one self-inflicted, the other coming back from an injury, but I love it. I love it. Both great guys, really just good high character, and it's awesome to see them play every Sunday. So that'll be a fun race. I think the other unnamed award, the Rookie of the Year award, I think we've got so many rookies. That one might be a little bit fun. We might have to have a whole Turf Talk pod on just that.
Yeah, my boy Mo Alaga taking that away. But Mo Ahmed beat him today, Air Egypt, with the win, so I don't know. Yeah. We're going to have to see.
But
I think it's a close race.
Ahmed, he's still, he turned primetime around, man.
Yeah. Like, talk about play of the year, too, probably. Like, that jump pass, like, there's a lot of options for that, too. We gotta sit down and think about all those highlights and see which one's play of the year.
Real quick shout out to Miz, Walter Payton Man of the Year, for not getting into any fights this year. I know he's been adamant about that, telling me every week, I'm not going to get into a fight. I'm not going to get into a fight. He's been playing peacemaker for the most part, so I got to just give him his flowers.
Speaking of peacemakers, 3P was a peacemaker this week instead of the usual crash outs. So that was surprising.
Mind blown. I was on the field expecting, something crazy to happen. I turned around. You got the usual suspects: Double A, Mo Ashkar, Miz, all these guys. I turned around and they're, breaking the fight up, telling people to get off the field. I loved it. I loved seeing those guys, playing that veteran role, trying to keep these young guys under control when they're, losing themselves in the heat of the moment. So.
No, yeah, for sure. It was great to see. I think that's all we have for you guys today. We appreciate you guys tuning in. One more announcement. We got a great podcast coming up. Next Turf Talk episode will be with the 3 main QBs of this league, in my opinion, Imran, Dylan, and Hussam. We're going to love to chop it up with them, talk a little bit about their preparation for this week's games and how they're getting ready for the playoffs. It'll be awesome. We'll hope to see you guys there. Thank you for tuning in. Good luck this week, boys.